In late May, we hit the road again. With Southern Europe looked in a heat wave and forecast to be up to the mid-30s, reports of spawning carp were coming back from everywhere we looked. It was clear we needed a plan B, rather than getting burnt on both fronts. First port of call was northern Belgium, where the temperatures had been cooler, but after that, we still weren't sure exactly where the trip would take us. Wherever we ended up though, one thing we did know was that we were full of expectation for another week on the road.
It always seems like a good idea when we book it, but the 1 AM alarm was as painful as ever. Usually early start, so I was at Folkestone bleary-eyed by 4 AM and rolling through the cobble streets of Flanders by 8. It was a blustery, cool morning. We were pretty certain they hadn't spawned yet, and we hoped perfect timing to try and nick a bite or two before heading on. It seemed our timing was impeccably out though. Within a few minutes of pulling up, we'd heard a thrash, and then another. Our hearts sunk. We were too late after all. After watching them for a short while, big, thick back mirrors and dark commons ghosting through the pads at our feet, we left them to it and headed off. A few hours later we rolled up at the second venue. Another canal, but this time further south and where we were pretty sure they'd already spawned a few weeks previously. After a good few hours looking, we finally spotted a couple, unbelievably just feet from the bank in the neck of a tiny narrow concrete outlet just yards from where we parked the van. Like a pair of kids crabbing on a pier, we both lowered our hook baits in, and after just 20 minutes, Marcus's rod pinged up tight and the spool span as a hooked one made its way out of the narrow channel and into the bay. After waiting for a torrential downpour to pass, we did the shots. It was a mega common, black as your hat with a huge floppy tail and massive pecs. A proper old character, exactly the kind of carp we'd come for.
It's amazing carp.
No more bites came, despite them fizzing and sheeting all over us for another couple of hours. So taking a gamble, we baited the concrete outlet, with plans to come back and check it the following morning, and headed up some big sets of snags further up the canal for the night. The morning dawned quietly, with just a few liners and a few clattering out through the night to keep us interested. The day was spent searching every nook and cranny, mainly along the back snaggy edge of the canal, and eventually we started to see them. Tucked right up tight under the branches, just little disturbances and vortexes in the duckweed giving them away. Marcus decided to stay put that night, but I moved up a little, nearer to where we'd seen them, and we both found spots tucked up as tight as we could into the trees. As ever, the rigs were prepped meticulously, and unbelievably, within 10 minutes of getting them in, I was into my first one of the trip. Magnifique carp, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Maybe 14 kilo, yeah.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, it's
You're
beautiful
from
fish.
England?
From England.
Yeah, good idea
Yeah.
to coming fishing here.
Yeah, Belgium's lovely.
Just minutes after returning my mirror, Marcus was into one himself, a nice common, and suddenly everything was chaos again as we struggled to get them filmed and photographed and rigs back in sweetly under the tight overhangs before darkness fell. Once again, the night was quiet, bar a few liners. But shortly after, I was out in the early morning drizzle playing one, and after a quick coffee to breathe some life into us, we lifted her out to take a few shots. It was a lovely plump last morning mirror, a great way to finish the first few nights angling. We should have been on the road hours ago, but as fate would have it, there was one last capture to come. A strange kinky backed mirror for Marcus. No corker, but it was certainly a character.
Hit him. Bent up thingy.
Right, maybe. Sweet. Right, so really quick catch up. We're just about to hit the road.
Yeah, I've got a long drive ahead of us.
Massive drive, just about to dial in, like an 8.5 hour drive up to northern Germany. Basically, we were supposed to be going to France this trip, down to the south, possibly back down to the Pyrenees or sort of even further south, but the forecast is brutally hot down there. 33 degrees this weekend. Some of the fish are spawning, some of them have just spawned. You just really didn't feel like the one. So
Nah.
the beauty of this sort of public fishing in Europe is you can go wherever you want, you can do whatever you want, sort of depending on the conditions. So we've done a couple of nights on a little canal in Belgium. The first place we went to, they were spawning.
Yeah.
So we basically just took a little bit of GoPro footage of them, watched them for a little bit, which was really nice, and then just jumped back in the van, headed off to another place. We've been lucky enough to catch a few really, really nice ones, a couple of plump mirrors. You had a mega common, big tail, black, 28 pounder, really nice character. It's been really difficult fishing. The weed's been brutal.
Savage, mate, the weed in here. You know, it just moves all the time and catches your
It's a
lines.
nightmare.
Just, yeah.
Never really seen anything like it, to be honest. It's been horrendous. Haven't really had any sleep for 3 days. The van is now full of like stinking, soaking wet, dripping kit covered in weed. Yeah, so we're going to hit the road, go and get some breakfast and some coffee, much needed.
Yeah.
And yeah, head up to a big couple of 1,000 acre
massive, big windswept German pit. There's a really good weather forecast. Yeah, big weather front. Mild southwesterlies. We know they've not spawned yet up there. So hopefully
We might have timed it right.
Hopefully might have just about timed it right, and there might be some big chocolate brown, little finned German mirrors waiting for them. So yeah, Marcus is going to play DJ, try and keep me awake on the road, and yeah, we'll see you in Germany.
See you in Germany. Let's go, mate.
Let's do it.
Wicked, come on. Let's do it. Go now, mate, is there?
No, well, you say not just over 3 hours, 200 miles. But to be honest, out here, yeah, 3 hours seems like a drop in the ocean, really. When you're looking at like 5, 6, 7, 8 hour drives. Well, I'd wince at the thought of doing that sort of mileage in the UK to go fishing, but out here, it just doesn't really seem like a problem. Third country we've driven in today, come from Belgium, driven through Holland, and yeah, now getting up sort of towards northern Germany. So yeah, it's been alright so far, no traffic, breezed it really, due in by about 5:30. Don't really hold out a huge amount of hope for getting any rods sorted properly tonight. It's a massive sheet of water, this place. Access is really quite poor, so I think we're going to have to borrow boats and batteries and stuff in to be able to even launch. So, plus, I've absolutely no idea really how we even get to the water on where it's going to be in the end of the southwesterly, but big fresh wind forecast. Hopefully they're going to do what big water wild carp do and get on the end of it. Hopefully we'll see a few. I reckon try and get a good night's kip, get some rods out in the morning, but
It'll start fresh tomorrow, innit?
yeah, I reckon so, mate. But yeah, for now, coffee buzz to keep us going.
Right, have a look at this.
Oh, big lake buzz.
The zoom out there.
It's incredible. What a weather front as well. Mega fresh southwesterly. Possibly not the ideal conditions for setting up in, but certainly looks good from a fishing point of view. A good little look round that point to the left. A couple of nice looking spots off there. Got this lovely looking point out there in the distance as well, where you've got a nice sort of drop off the end of those reeds. But still fairly cool at the moment. The water still feels fairly cold. So I'm not convinced that they're going to have pushed up into the shallower water yet, but I think they're going to nip round and have a look round the other side, and then possibly even go around and have a look off the back of the wind as well. But yeah, we got to find them. There's no point setting up just on a whim. I think on somewhere like this, even if it takes us a day or two to find them, I think yeah, we've got to find them before we try and do anything. So no fishing tonight, just bound through with carnage currently. Didn't see any fish, so just sat on a nice little vantage point and watched for the evening. Got some good food downers, and just going to chuck the beds and bodies up, get up bright and early tomorrow, get one of the boats built, and yeah, get out and see if we can find some. But yeah, currently fishing state of play looks a bit like this. first light start and some coffee and breakfast downers, we got a boat built and headed out to try and find some carp. Knowing full well we had 2,000 acres to search and it would be no easy task to find any at all. We just hoped a big mild weather front would get a few of them on the end of it and showing.
So it's nearly midday. We've been out here since about 7 a.m. So for what, 5 hours or something we've been out here. We've seen 2 shows. Pretty much done. We haven't quite done a lap of the lake, but we've lapped probably 2/3 of it, I reckon. Found some really nice areas. Not really seen a lot on the Echo. But yeah, so we're just motoring back home now, basically. But we're going across the real deep bit, so we're over about 70 foot of water at the moment. But there's some mega sort of shallow features right out here in the middle, ludicrously long way from the bank, like 1,000 metres, so you couldn't really fish them. But we just thought we'd motor on past just to see what we could see while we're out here. So yeah, still undecided. Got to keep searching, I think, even if we have to wait for the weather to heat up the next couple of days. Maybe try and find them then. But yeah, tough at the moment.
Why'd you leave so late? It's 2 a.m. You could have stayed. Should have been treating you mean, keeping you keen, keeping you in place. On the run, you left my hands tied, but my heart undone. I won't speak of you, I wouldn't dare. I'll be waiting right there. Midnight to run up. I'll be waiting right there. Love grabbed my knee, you took away, but I got your profile on the replay. You won't get too far without a chance. I'll be waiting someday. Midnight to run up. Midnight to run up. Midnight run up. I'll be waiting someday.
As forecast, the wind intensified during the day, battering into the bay, and although it looked great for a bite, it brought huge rafts of drifting silkweed with it and caused no end of problems, even at the shorter ranges we'd opted to fish. By 3 p.m, all the rods were out the equation. The sheer weight of meters and meters of drifting silkweed towing the rigs out of position, and eventually they all needed to be handlined to get them back in. After weighing up our options and assessing the situation and a full rebuild, fresh leaders, fresh rigs, we sat and waited for the evening to draw in and the wind to drop enough for us to think about getting the rods back out there for the night. We kept it simple, just a light spread of boilie and tigers, big snowmen on the firm seams of sand and gravel between the weed and silt. And once again, we sat back to watch the incredible big skies and to dream of big German mirrors.
Pristine clear, a positive message of truth entered my ear. A message of hope is being released from my heart, and I am overwhelmed with dedication to do my part. All I ever wanted was to be as I once was, unbounded. Somehow it got all twisted, and before long it sounded as though life was a continuous drive, choking out the simple joy of just being alive. Now I am filled with love, and I sing a love song. A song for yesterday, today, tomorrow, and beyond. My new prayer is thank you, God, for setting me free.
Once again, the anticlimax for blank dawn hit us. Softened though as it was by the beauty of a glassy calm 2,000 acres, it's hard to feel anything but awe for the surroundings. It did look like we needed a new plan though, as the bay was deathly quiet and they definitely hadn't turned up as we'd hoped.
Mozzie's been savage, haven't they?
Mate, I've just been eaten alive for the past 2 nights. But,
it's been a difficult couple of days fishing, not going to lie. We headed up here initially on the basis of the forecast lot. Unfortunately, we've been really stung with the timing on this trip. They have been spawning in Belgium, spawning in France, spoke to some friends in Germany, they're spawning in mid-Germany, spawning in Holland as well. So we've just been really caught out with the timing. It's one of them, when you plan trips in advance, obviously you just can't choose what the weather's going to be like. So that's just been one of them things. So we ended up coming up to North Germany, knowing that the weather had been a little bit cooler, obviously, over the last few weeks here, and they hadn't spawned yet. Big lake, deep lake, 2,000 acres. You know, so yeah, we sort of hoped that timing might sort of just about be right, but it's been difficult. First day we spent 4 or 5 hours out in the boat, searching, saw one show, but in the end we actually took a gamble on the forecast and set up on what was going to be a really big, warm southwesterly that was forecast. You know, hopefully they'd sort of turn up on the end of that. It's also an area that we know from a friend that they do turn up in at this time of year, in the sort of, you know, few weeks prior to spawning. So yeah, on paper it looked good. It's just not quite worked out
really
like
good,
that, did
mate.
it?
You know, that wind was warm. You know, it was smashing down into this bay, but like we said, mate, there's like probably 3 miles of of bank that's on the end of this southwesterly, with little bays and stuff.
Yeah.
On a pit like this, it's just all about searching and finding them, and we did see one.
Yep.
One did roll in front of us that first night, but it's just sort of seems lifeless in here. So I think we've got one more night.
Yep.
We're just going out on the boat now and just have a look, mate. Today's really good for spotting them.
It's nice and calm. We'll have some really good visibility today if they are in any of those shallower waters. So we've basically got a rod each, a little bucket of boilie and some tigers, a couple of rig bits. Just going to go and see if we can find a chance anywhere. We have got a plan B, a little bit of flowing water somewhere else in Northern Europe where we know they spawned sort of 2-3 weeks ago or something like that. So that is a safe bet for tomorrow. So if we can't find them today, going to head off there in the morning. Either way, it's been a beautiful couple of days.
Mate, it's mega like this.
If nothing else, we've got to shoot some beautiful landscapes and
we'll
haven't seen another angler either, have we?
No, we haven't. No, it's 2,000 acres and not another fisherman on
on
the lake.
Might just be one for another day. It's the second time I've been here and it's not quite worked out both times yet. Timing's just been
missed it, haven't you? Last trip,
a little bit out,
a
little bit late,
and
a little bit early this trip. But that's just all part of the adventure and the buzz of this sort of fishing. So yeah, we're going to chuck the last couple of bits in the boat and head off. So do it, mate.
Do it, mate. Sweet as.
After another day spent searching and another battery burnt, we'd scoured as much of the north and east banks as we could, but the carp was still apparently nowhere to be seen. With 10 to 12 foot of perfect visibility and vast areas of shallower weedy ground explored, there was also a distinct lack of any freshly cleared areas. Slowly it dawned on us that we were probably just that bit too early. With one last area to check, we did at last find a few, but all too quickly it became clear that it wasn't exactly what we were looking for. With no sightings anywhere other than a big shoal of bream and some carp spawning, we decided to abandon ship and to try to salvage something from the trip elsewhere. So pointing the van south again, we headed to Holland to meet an old friend for a night on a big industrial canal in the north.
As it turned out, it was a beautifully quiet night. After the long drive and the testing few days of winds and big water boat work, it was actually a relief to get some kip and just flick them out off the tips. No signs whatsoever to go on though. We packed up early and headed off once again. This time, back to Belgium for 2 last nights on another big working canal over in the east.
It's been a little bit of a tough trip, hasn't it, mate?
It's been savage, man. Ain't gonna lie, it's been very difficult. That's part and parcel, mate, isn't it? That's just.
It is.
It's what car vision's all about. It's not going to be always easy.
No, we were saying this morning, weren't we, that we were basically struggling to sort of have anything really to make a little film out of this, really, and so we had quite a good start, didn't we?
Good start. Yeah.
Caught one really, really quick, and then caught another couple of nice ones, and it looked like the trip was off to a flyer. And since day 2, basically, it's been a massive struggle. We've probably driven 1,500 miles right up into North Germany to sort of get away from the heat, actually, and the warm water temperatures and the fish that were spawning throughout the rest of Europe. So we sort of took a bit of a gamble, rolled the dice and went up to northern Germany, and initially it just didn't really seem quite right, did it? It almost seemed a bit too cold, if anything. The water temperatures were still quite low, couldn't really find anything. We spent a good few days out in the boat looking, hours and hours and hours, didn't we?
Just not really seeing anything, to be fair.
No.
Couple of little things, but that was it. That was it, wasn't it? Like 2 fish, I think we said.
Yeah.
Hard going, beautiful lake, you know, but it was just very, very hard going.
Yeah. And then they spawned on us there as well on the last night. Not all of them, it was only a small group, like a dozen fish or something maybe, turned up, and there's this basically really sort of shallow, sort of sandy, rocky plateau covered in reeds and what have you, and so the water temperatures on that little bit of water, I think, had obviously warmed up quite a lot quicker than all the sort of remainder of the lake, which is down to 80 foot in places, and yeah, it seemed like a small group. They seemed all smaller ones, males, I think, as well, were just kind of having a go early, so I think all the big plump females were still somewhere else, probably well away from that, actually, maybe, you know, but yeah, so that was sort of, it was a lovely few days, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was hard going, but it was lovely, you know, and that last day when they did spawn, it just, the temperature risen when it's almost 30 degrees.
Yeah.
Mega hot, so obviously some of the little ones had a go, so yeah, decided to pack up.
See some nice sunsets, didn't we? Some amazing skies.
Beautiful.
Amazing landscapes. Maybe one for the future. Yeah, we'll see. And we were sort of struggling, weren't we, really, for ideas. So we met up with a friend in Holland on a stretch of canal. It's actually quite an old sort of historic canal in Holland. Yeah, met up with a friend who sort of kindly showed us a couple of nice little spots, and we knew that they'd spawned 3 weeks ago or something on there, so we knew we were safe really on that front. But other than it being a lovely, beautiful, quiet bit of canal, we didn't see a thing, didn't hear a thing. You caught a bream during the night, didn't you?
Caught a bream during the night, yeah.
And that was that. It was quite nice actually to get a bit of sleep. So we were shot away, really. We hadn't had a lot of sleep up in Germany.
No, it was actually nice to be able to park behind a swim, you know, and just have a nice,
that was quite nice. We had like an early dinner once, didn't we, instead of eating at midnight. After obviously all the big boat work, you know, and the big winds, we were always doing our rods really late in the evenings and things as late as possible once the wind had died. And you know, that's like 10 o'clock at the moment, isn't it? So we were eating, you know, by the time we were sorted, we were eating at like 11, 12 o'clock, and obviously it's light again at 4. So yeah, it had been a really tough, tiring few days. It was quite nice to have that nice kind of mellow night in Holland, and yeah, meet up with an old friend, but it didn't really seem like the one to stay, did it?
No, not at all. You know, we had a few other places as well we wanted to visit on the way back home in Belgium, weren't it? So we stopped off here, decided to make a move, and yeah, ended up down here.
So you know, we haven't filmed any scenics, not filmed any setup, nothing. Basically, it's
wouldn't say it's a secret venue at all, far from it, but just out of respect for the locals, you know, and the guys that have been kind enough to, you know, to show us the place. Yeah, we haven't really filmed anything, so some lovely carp in here. Actually got to photograph a couple of really nice ones for an old friend that I haven't seen for years as well, just randomly by chance, who happened to be on the same stretch. So that's been really exciting, and to be honest, I was saying to you this morning, in a weird way, like seeing those couple of good ones and getting to photograph them kind of made my trip. You know, it's always really nice to share in you know, in that for other people, and yeah, they're really lovely carp. And then just out of the blue this morning, you caught one yourself, didn't you, mate?
Yeah, got lucky really last morning. Yeah, obviously mega tired after the mental storm last night where we didn't get much sleep.
2 nights really without much sleep. The electrical storms through this part of Northern Europe the last 2 days have been horrendous. It's just been like, what, 3, 4, 5 hours of massive electrical storms each night. It's been pretty brutal. Thankfully we had the van behind us. I'm a little bit nervous of lightning. Like, a long story, but
I wasn't too keen either though, to be fair.
yeah, so we hid in the van basically. I actually fell asleep in the van in the end, woke up at 3:30 this morning. Marcus had sloped back off to his brolly, left me curled up on the front seats. Woke up with a stiff neck at 3:30, it had passed by then, so I got back in my bag as well. And then big winds as well, wasn't it? I lost my brolly on the first night. Storm just came in from nowhere, hit the trees on the far bank, the wind, and then suddenly it was like 30, 35, 40 mile an hour wind from nowhere. Took the brolly, thankfully there were some trees behind us because it went straight over the road and ended up in the trees, lost all my pegs. So we were like frantically scrambling around, weren't we, trying to throw kit back in the van. And
mate, it was just carnage.
Yeah.
Kit everywhere, pegs everywhere, and all that, you know, like just bits of tackle. It was just, it was savage. So yeah.
And then same again last night.
Yeah,
a couple of the rods got wiped out during the night. There's loads of floating debris on here as well, bits of weed, like reeds, just you know, big working canal, big boats and things as well. So yeah, unfortunately, a couple of our rods have been wiped out, and yeah, you redid one of yours really early, didn't you?
Yeah, I just woke up to like a load of bleeps and stuff, and obviously went to go and check my rod and say one of those big weed beds has just wiped out the rod. So yeah, so I redone it. And I just put some fresh oak baits out there and sort of plonked it back down.
An hour later.
It's about an hour later. I went back to sleep, and I was.
Yeah, we both did, didn't we?
Yeah, just absolutely KO'd, and yeah, out of nowhere, an absolute mental take. It was one of them where you're not quite sure what to do. Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh my god, I'm trying to put my shoes on and
all confused.
It was, you know, savage, but yeah, obviously got one in the end.
Yeah.
Mega chuffed with him, you know, because it's been a hard trip to get one from, you know, a big canal, and you know, last morning. Yeah, really pleased. So
cool character as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, mate. You know, just like all the canal ones, I think they're hard carp, aren't they? Hardy carp. They've got to deal with so much stuff.
Yeah.
You know, just cool character fish, and yeah, mate, chuffed bits with him. So
just I think, don't know. I think some people think there's, you know, European lark is all easy fishing, but
far from it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, we have had some trips where our timing's fallen just right, and we've been really lucky, and you know, the last trip was a perfect example. Like, it was only supposed to be a bit of a recce trip, like a quick 3-day trip. Yeah. And we had like 12 fish and 5 40-pounders.
Yeah.
So, you know, amazing. Whereas this one, we've done, I think, 9 nights fishing.
Something like that,
and just caught a couple of 20-pounders. But, you know, for me, and we've talked about it loads on this trip, haven't we? Like, it doesn't really matter what you catch, because it's not the point of the trip is just to have an adventure, but sort of kind of doesn't, in a way, it sort of doesn't matter really what happens, because you're seeing different landscapes, fishing different places. We've done everything from, like, you know, fishing like tight under little tree lines on tiny little canals this trip, to, you know, towing out 300 meters on a huge, big, really deep pit up in Germany, to fishing a couple of sort of big industrial kind of canals in a couple of different countries. And so it's always a buzz, whatever happens, isn't it?
I love it. I love the trips, whether they're good or bad, whether they catch or not. I enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, you know. And obviously it's nice to catch. but it's not going to be like that all the time. You just got to
Yeah.
take it, you know, the rough with the smooth, and all
Yeah.
that, and win some, you lose some.
Makes
but
it all the more worthwhile when
even when you do
when it
lose
does
them,
happen.
I still feel like you're winning.
Yeah.
'Cause I love it. Love it. So,
And places like this as well, there's always the chance like of an absolute monster just around the corner. So
we'll be back. That's for
yeah,
sure.
certainly keep us coming back. So yeah, just going to chuck the last couple of bits in the motor. Wind the rods in, which are still out. As always, you've left them till the absolute death, just hoping.
Yeah, no.
Hit the roads, and yeah, big drive back to the motherland and back to reality. But yeah, been a lovely trip.
Can't you just leave me here?
Yeah, I could leave you here, mate. Right, let's get out of
Sweet
here.
as, right.